Right, I thought I would just have a closer look at one of the more interesting facets of the Pro X, and that is the thing that really makes this rifle stand out from any other high-end bullpup PCP. Because let's be honest, the market's awash with bullpup PCPs. You've got Pulsars, Renegades, HW 110 series of bullpups now, the Air Arms, Galahad, Atamans, Hatsans. There's hundreds of BSAs. There's hundreds of them. Cometers, some obviously far more expensive than others. But the one feature that this particular bullpup has that none of the others have is the fact that it is a 10-shot self-indexing rifle. In other words, cock it once and pull the trigger 10 times and you get 10 shots. There's no need to cock it in between shots, because it works off a self-cocking mechanism, which is very clever. And I thought we'd have a look at the magazine that really plays quite a crucial role in that function on this particular Steyr Pro X. Now, most magazines are fairly straightforward affairs. You load the pellets in and the pellets are retained one way or the other, either with a little plastic cover over the front, or as in the case with the Virauk magazines, with some sort of O-ring, and that's about it. And then you put the magazine in. Every time you pull the bolt back on the rifle, the bolt, as you're withdrawing it, moves the magazine round, and then the bolt slides through and loads a pellet. On the Steyr Pro though, it's slightly different, because the Steyr Pro, the actual magazine is self-activating in effect. What you have, as you can see here, you've got this little lip here that sits in the centre of the magazine, and that is spring loaded. So as you can see, that turns around, then it goes against the spring. So if I let go of it now, it'll flip back round. See? So you spin it round, bump, it clicks back round itself under tension of a spring. And what you do is, when you load a magazine, you slide it in the top here, and the top of the magazine housing on the Steyr has a little groove cut in the top here, a little slot that runs down. So when you've loaded the pellets into the mag, that slots into there like that, and then, and if you look, it retains that little lip in place, and you rotate the magazine all the way around until it comes to a dead stop. Now that magazine now is under spring tension, so when you take a shot, so you cock it, fire a shot off, bang, instead of the bolt action or side lever or whatever, like on a normal rifle, moving the magazine round, what happens is there's a little cam in the bottom, and when you take your shot, after you've taken your shot, that just drops out the way, and the magazine momentarily, and the magazine itself, because it's spring loaded, springs round into the next position. And this is operated, if I think I'm right here, is operated by a small amount of gas that comes back from the firing cycle, small amount of compressed air from the firing cycle. And the difference between this and the Hunting 5 is that on the Hunting 5, that reloading mechanism not only recocks the rifle, like it does on this as well, ready for the next shot, but on the Hunting 5 it has to actually move the magazine across, because on Hunting 5 the magazine's a stick magazine, so it has to actually physically move the magazine over and cock the rifle. But on the Pro X series, they've refined it slightly, so now all it does is cock the rifle, because the magazine itself moves itself because it's spring loaded. And it's a really, and you can see how it's spring loaded, because when you press the release, if you want to get the magazine out, there's a little release lever underneath and on the bottom here, that little button there. So when you press that, you'll see the magazine spin round and spring up. See? And then it comes out. And if you look inside, at the very bottom there, you can see the little silver cam that actuates that moves out the way to let the magazine spring round itself. And it's all sealed, of course, with this little cap that closes over the top. So the Pro X is actually a refinement on the mechanism in the Hunting 5. In fact, the Hunting 5 not only has to cock the rifle, obviously ready for the next shot, but also move the magazine across with a small cam that comes out and shoves it across. Whereas on the Pro X, the magazine itself, because it's spring loaded, moves itself round, and all the blowback does on the self indexing mechanism is actually recock the rifle. So it makes the Pro X actually slightly more efficient than a Hunting 5. And I must admit, I've now fired thousands of shots through this Pro X, many thousands of shots through this Pro X, been through loads of tins of ammo, and I find it astonishingly efficient. It's very efficient, very accurate, and so well, that mechanism is so well machined and made. I've never had a misfire, I've never had a misload, nothing. As long as the only thing you've got to watch out for is when you load the pellets in, because they're not retained by anything, because once they're in this housing, they can go nowhere, because that's quite a snug fit. So once you've got it in there, nothing can move. But when you're actually loading it, you must always remember to try and keep the magazine tilted downwards, if you like. So I think there's a slight chamfer in these, because the pellets won't, if you load them in from this side like you're supposed to, the pellets won't fall out the other side. But if you tilt it backwards, they will fall back out the back. So the only thing to remember is always to keep it tilted that way as you're slotting it in. Just keep it facing downwards as you slot it in, and you'll have no problems. But I've had no misfires, no misloads or anything with this rifle since I bought it. It's a fantastic bit of kit and a really, really clever way of activating the magazine, because the magazine does it all itself, just a simple little spring that's built inside. It's ingenious, absolutely ingenious. The only downside to that is that these magazines are rather expensive if you want to buy spares. But having said that, all Steyr spare parts or accessories are very expensive anyway, but these are like 50 odd quid each. So they are quite expensive. But to be fair, they're so quick and easy to load, and you get 10 shots, that really you don't need a spare magazine. And in all fairness, it's pointless anyway, because if you put the pellets in, unless you find some way of always carrying them around like that, the pellets are going to drop out anyway. So a spare magazine really is a bit pointless. So there you go. I just thought I'd show you that. And I think that because of the way that action works so well, enabling you to get those 10 shots so beautifully, so quickly and so faultlessly, I I'd love to see this action mounted in a rifle mechanism as well. Personally, I think Steyr should think about bringing out a sort of hunting 5 type rifle, but call it the hunting 10, and maybe stick this Pro X or Pro 10 mechanism in a rifle format, because I think that would make a superlative hunting rifle. I really do. I mean, this is phenomenal, but a lot of people don't like the bullpup style action. And one of the criticisms that you get from people that don't like hunting 5 is the fact that you only get 5 shots before you need to reload. And some people see only having 5 shots in the magazine is a bit of a problem. And if you look at the shape of the action and all the rest of it, it's actually extremely simple. It's almost identical to the current hunting 5 action. It's only this little bit here where the actual magazine fits in that seems to be any different. Obviously there's internal differences, but I don't think it would be beyond Steyr to mount that mechanism inside of a hunting rifle and produce a sort of hunting 10 rifle, if you like. And I think that would be incredible, an incredible gun. Because this is just, if you've not shot one of these, you're missing out. These things are just awesome. They are awesome. That 10 shot capability is an incredible thing to have for out hunting. It really is. It really comes in useful on a hunting rifle. I know we all strive for a one-shot kill, but from an ethical point of view, having shots instantly available if anything goes wrong is such a benefit. And of course it also enables you to take out, if you've got a decent silencer on it and there's a bit of a breeze blowing, you know, group of rabbits sat together, 2 or 3 of them, a couple of times now. I've shot 3. I think my best is 5. I've actually managed to take a group of 5 rabbits out, not all set necessarily all that close together, but all sat fairly close together, and I took them all out without them running, because you've got that really quick. Because all you do, there's no movement, and it's movement that gives the game away normally. So there's no need to move your arm or anything to recock it. All you literally do is a slight adjustment to resight it on the next target, and bang, away you go. It's just phenomenal. It really is. It's a heck of a piece of kit. And as you can see, I've got it fitted up with a photon night sight, and it's bringing in really good results in this configuration now. I must admit that I've re-slotted the bipod on, because at night time I don't use the bipod. I just rely on leaning against a fence or tree or whatever, or just taking freestanding shots, but normally there's always something to lean on at night. So there you go. So that's the hunting 10 mechanism in a bit more closer detail. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.